And, you know, a couple punches came through and like, it's just unforgivable.
You don't care about what I'm saying? Or
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying I don't care that the fact that they're trying to justify anything is not okay with me.
The court would note that of any parties who came even close to losing their cool today in the courtroom, it was Mr. Code, just seemed to be intent on telling his version. And so the court just has credibility concerns and had them throughout his testimony. So the court will. And so with that, let us call Mr. McLean's case. This is Jamel McLean, 25M4496 for the people.
Stick with the people.
Thank you, Mr. McLean.
No, for
you. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. McLean today is set for a court trial. So let's start here. Mr. McLean, are you prepared to proceed to your trial this afternoon, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you walked in with a lovely lady. Is she a support person here for you, or is she a witness?
That's just my wife. She's just here for support.
Just here for people. Are you prepared to proceed to trial?
Your Honor, I do have one evidentiary issue I'd like to bring to the record.
Okay.
About 30 minutes ago, we received a new video from the victim depicting acts in this incident. I haven't had a chance to go through that with Mr. McLean. Obviously, I just got it about 30 minutes ago. I would like to use that today. If not, I would be requesting a continuance within speedy.
Okay. So in this instance, the people do have a late disclosure of evidence. It's not a violation of Rule 16 necessarily, because they didn't have it in the first place immediately at law enforcement, but the alleged victim supposedly had it and just gave it to the people.
Right now, I reviewed the video. The video that he received is not the actual video from the day of the alleged incident. It's a video from 6 months prior from the incident. But yeah, I have a chance to review that video and yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
And I don't believe the victim is here. He's been on the way for about 30, 45 minutes now, is my understanding.
If the alleged victim were to arrive timely and be here and try to introduce that video as evidence and assert that it was from the day in question, are there witnesses or anyone that you would have wanted to come testify besides yourself about that video or about that incident?
No, Your Honor, I'm not worried about that video. The video absolutely says nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
So I'll give it 3 more minutes and then I'm going to see how people want to proceed. If we start trial and you call your officer and then your victim doesn't show up, you're kind of just stuck with the evidence that you have, as with a jury trial. If the people are asking to continue, we can then take that up. So I'll give you 3 more minutes to figure out which way we're going.
Is outside, Your Honor, is coming up. I did get clarification. We will not be using that video.
Okay. Okay. So Mr. McLean, it sounds as though there was some kind of miscommunication and people will not be using that video. So let's kind of start again from the beginning with all of this. Mr. McLean, are you prepared to proceed to trial today?
Yes, Your Honor.
People, are you prepared?
Yes.
I will ask first, would the people like to make any opening statement?
I'll reserve, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. McLean, would you like to make any opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, in this case, based on one person's version of this event, without any supporting evidence, there's no witnesses, no videos, and no independent proof. The police relied on one single statement. You will see inconsistencies in the gaps of his testimony. The evidence does not meet the burden beyond a reasonable doubt, and I'm confident the courts will find me not guilty.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Stigler, any opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe this case is largely based on credibility and attempts to essentially evade consequences because of what some believe to be non-evidence. I do believe that through the testimony of this witness, as well as their officers, along with the photographic evidence we do have, we will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. McLean did commit assault in the 3rd degree.
With that, the people have their first witness.
We do, Your Honor. People can call Officer Beebe.
Officer Beebe?
Yes.
People up here. Before you have a seat, I'll have you just stop before the steps and raise your right hand.
Good afternoon, officer.
Good afternoon.
Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Detective Joshua Beebe, Joshua, and then Beebee.
And where are you currently employed?
For the City of Aurora Police Department.
And how long have you been employed with them?
Approximately 11 years.
And do you have any specific training with regard to investigating assaults?
Yes.
Were you on duty on February 6th, 2025?
Yes.
And Did you respond to University Hospital that afternoon?
I
Or
did
that evening?
not.
Did you speak with employees of that hospital?
So through an email chain, I received the forensic exam, and which would include a report and also the photos that were taken during that exam.
And with those photos, what does it look like to you as kind of in your personal experience and training, the cause of those?
I would say it'd be consistent with an assault.
Showing the eyebrow, the left eyebrow, what does that indicate to you?
Believe that came from being punched in the face or in the eye
Pretty
area.
consistent with your experience?
Yes.
Nothing further this time, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. McLean, cross-examination of this witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Did you witness the incident?
No.
You arrived afterwards at the location?
No.
No. Did you go to the location?
No.
No. Was there any independent witnesses that seen the allegation?
Not directly.
Is there any witnesses at all
There would be like,
that seen
What?
the actual?
well, you said witness at all.
Okay.
Witness at all. There's an outcry witness directly after the assault.
Okay.
I believe his name was Joel.
Okay. And do you have his statement?
I do.
Okay. Jewel was his last name?
No, his first.
And what is Jewel's last name?
I couldn't say without reviewing my report.
Okay. Was there any video, like actual video of the alleged incident?
I attempted with multiple different companies and multiple people within those companies to obtain video and was never able to receive any video.
So that's a no. Okay.
But no.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate for your time. Thank you.
Right before you have a seat, I'm going to have you stop and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Please have a seat.
Mr. Stigler, I apologize. Could you, maybe as your very first question, have him state and spell his name for me?
Good afternoon. Could you just please state and spell your name for the record?
Oh, yeah, certainly. Javon Code, JVON. There's actually a hyphen in there, but I don't know if you want that apostrophe to mess with the spelling.
And
Last
that's all
name,
right. However it's normally spelled, please spell it. Thank you.
JVON. Last name Code, COAD.
People, direct examination.
Mr. Code, what do you do for a living?
Me, I'm a truck driver.
How long have you been doing that?
Almost 2 years now in July, and deliver Mopar again. By this time I get back, it's 1:45. So
1:45 at
PM.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What took place after that?
After that, I got a walkie-talkie call from Jamel, and he said, "So you're not going to help me move any of these trailers?" With our history, I was like, going to tell him, "Hey, I'm about to get off from work right now." You know what I mean? But just the rudeness from him already, I just decided to say, "I don't have to explain myself to you." So he got back on the walkie-talkie and said, "Come down here." And I was like, "For what?" He was like, "You wait till I drop this trailer." So then he drove up to me, opened my door, and tried to pull me out my vehicle, and grabbing at me, snatching at me and stuff. So I shut the door, put it in drive, and went to go park. And then he chased me and parked his truck. So I hopped off the truck, and he rushed me. And then he tried to take me to the ground and start punching on me. So, I don't know what happened after that. I threw him off me into the semi truck. I tried to walk back to the building to report what's going on. He grabbed me again from behind, had my jacket over my head. And I was like, let me go, because he tried to put me in a rear naked chokehold. And I'm like, dude, this is all right for sure. And then he was like, "I could kill you." I said, "Dude, let me go." So he let me go. And I started walking to the building to go make the report. And then he was like, "You still talking smack?" So I just looked back at him like, he just don't learn. So I just walked in the building and showed him that my nose was bleeding. And then when I went in there, I don't know what's going on between him and the boss that was going up on there, but she was like defending him, and I was the one that got attacked. So I had
Mr. Code, I got another question for you.
yeah, go ahead.
So the person you're referring to, you said Jamel, is that the defendant you see in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Could you just point him out with an article of clothing?
We're both wearing blue dress-up shirts. His checkered.
Your Honor, let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant subject to cross-examination.
Subject to cross-examination, the record will so reflect.
And so, Mr. Coit, I want to kind of get in a little more detail as to what exactly happened. So you were in the truck. Were you pulled out of the truck?
Nah, I was able to stay restrained by the seatbelt and whatnot. So at that point, kind of just fended him off, shut the door, went to go park. I was going to, just report that. I guess it needed to be made into something bigger. So this is where we're at today.
And so when you got out of the car, what exactly happened? Did you guys go to the ground?
Like I said, he rushed me and I had to put my guard up, and then he tried to take me to the ground, and then he got me on the ground like UFC, like ground and pound, trying to just punch on me like that. So I was blocking, just blocking for dear life, I guess. And, a couple punches came through, and like I said, scratched my nose and had me bleeding and stuff. And at that point, I was just overwhelmed with him being on top of me. I threw him off me and tried to walk to the building. He jumped back on me, pulled my coat over my head and jumped back on me from while I'm walking away.
So you said you had a scratch on your nose. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Did you take any pictures of that day?
Yeah, I went to the hospital to make sure I had it documented and stuff. So the hospital should have gave y'all pictures and whatnot.
Did you take any pictures yourself as well, though?
It wasn't the first time we got into an altercation, so I'm not sure if I got all kind of pictures, but I'm pretty sure I do. I got pictures of the inside of my mouth and whatnot.
You recognize that picture?
Yeah.
And is that a fair depiction of what your face looked like that day?
Yeah, on the outside.
And so how did that scratch come to be?
Like I said, a couple punches came through my guard, and he still had on these work gloves, scratched my nose, peeled off a piece of my skin on the top of my nose. So
that's a fair and accurate representation of your face that day after that incident?
Yeah, a little bit of bruised and battered,
So what happened after this incident? You said you went inside and you talked to the supervisor. What then took place?
We went in there, sat down with Holly. I exclaimed how weak he was for this altercation and whatnot, and told him I was going to call the police. So I'm not fighting and losing my job. That was smart. So after that, they pulled us into an office with the higher up management and, wanted stories from everyone. And I interrupted his explanation because, she's going to try to justify what happened. So I left. I went to go look for my glasses. They were knocked off. Found my glasses, came back. He was gone. They said he wasn't allowed back at the building anymore. Told me, what did you say to him to make him so mad? I said, word for word, I don't have to explain myself to you. And they said, exactly, he's not your boss. You don't have to explain anything to him. You're right. You know what I mean? Telling me that if I would have retaliated, I'd have lost my job too. So.
And so they said that they essentially terminated him for that?
Yeah. And then I told him I was going to call the police too, which I did. So.
And so after you called the police, what took place?
They were supposed to come get a report. They never came. So then I went to the hospital, and they finally showed up to the hospital to get the report. So
you spoke with an officer at the hospital?
Yeah, finally.
What did you learn while you were at the hospital?
That I'm here for everything that's got to happen. I'm going to be, with all the smoke. So that's definitely going to have to be documented because I don't feel safe with this person being in my life at all. He's mentioned to me things that he's been involved with my brother before. My brother's doing 400 years. It's just unforgivable at this point. He threatened my kids, my wife,
Mr. Cody,
my dad, my mom.
Let's cut it short. Let's cut it a little bit.
And so when the DA,
Here.
You don't care about what I'm saying? Or you?
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying I don't care that the fact that they're trying to justify anything is not okay with me. That's not okay. I wouldn't do this to another person. So
Okay.
That's what I mean. I would never say,
Mr. Code.
And so when
I don't
the,
care what you have to say, Your Honor.
thank you, sir. I just wanted to caution you. Sometimes the DA is asking you to stop mid-sentence because there's something he knows can't be put on the record. And so if he does ask you to pause for any reason, I would just ask that you do that and allow him to ask his next question. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
About how many times were you hit in the face?
I don't know. Till he got tired, I don't know. He just kept swinging on me.
Could you give a roundabout guess?
12, 13.
And that occurred all while you were on the ground, different phases?
Just while I was on the ground till I got him off.
And it was painful for you?
I mean,
Did it cause pain at the time?
yes, but yeah. Yes.
Nothing further this time, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Javon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jamel.
And you called the police right after the incident?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Javon, at the time of the incident, was there any witnesses there with you when you were assaulted, allegedly assaulted? Were there any witnesses?
There was a camera in the truck and cameras outside, but there was a witness standing by that said they seen nothing. So I don't think I have a witness.
Javon, so do you feel that my intentions were to harm you, to hurt you?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you had a guard up and you had two different testimonies, actually. First, you said that only 2 punches came through because you had a guard up. And the second one, it said that 15 punches came through. How many times were you punched?
Those numbers aren't accurate. I never said 2. I said 12 to 13.
How many times were you punched?
12 to 13 times.
Okay. So at the beginning of your testimony, those 2 punches that you said only came through, the couple of punches that came through was false.
No, you're taking it out of context. You know how many punches you threw, sir.
All right. And you stated the head boss was not siding with you originally?
I didn't say the head boss. She was beneath Joel and Joe, so she was not the head boss. I said a boss.
Why would you say they wasn't were siding with you immediately?
Your Honor, objection calls for speculation.
He testified to it on direct examination. Mr. McLean is asking, what about this witness's observations led him to feel that way? Based on that, the court will allow the question. The witness may answer. Overruled.
So what happened is you threatened my family before, and I told the boss about it, and she overlooked that and did nothing. You had no disciplinary actions towards you yourself. So, and for your question of being in fear, who wouldn't be in fear if someone said they could kill them? So,
Javon, do you carry a knife at work?
I do not.
Objection
And
outside the scope.
They mentioned in detail his job responsibilities, and he went in detail about his job responsibility. And I kind of feel that job responsibility and PPE work equipment all aligns with each other. So I could reword the question. Do you carry a knife for job duties?
No.
Based on that question, the court will overrule the objection based on the rephrasing and will accept the witness's answer of no. Thank you, Mr. McLean. You may ask your next question whenever you're ready.
Okay. Javon, was you told to leave as well?
No. I was asked if I could perform the next day, actually, and I came to work the very next day after being in the hospital well into the next day from that incident that happened that day, and still went to work.
And you went to work the very next day
Yes.
and was able to do all job functions properly?
Correct.
Correct. Was your knee bandaged at all for the next day?
I can't recall.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no other questions.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, officer. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yep. Officer Walker Ford, Ford, and then first name Walker, Walker.
What is your current occupation?
I'm a field training officer with the Aurora Police Department.
And how long have you been in that position?
Going on 2 years now.
What kind of training and experience do you have going into that?
I will be going on my 8th year of law enforcement this year.
Officer, you stated that he was frustrated?
Yes, he appeared to be frustrated.
Okay. In those pictures we just inducted, he had a smile on his face. Did he seem a little bit happy or?
I would say he was frustrated during the initial interaction with him because of our response, but after spending some time with him and building rapport, I got to get him to calm down and I mean, calm down is a loose term because he wasn't like super mad and frustrated that he needed to be de-escalated or anything like that. But
Okay.
I would say after a couple of minutes of building rapport, his attitude changed.
Okay. With every picture that you took, he had a smile on his face. Did you tell him to make that smile?
I did not.
Okay. Did you see was you a witness of the alleged incident?
I was not.
During your investigation, was you able to obtain any evidence, like video evidence, witnesses from the location area?
Not that I can recall, no.
Okay. All right. That's all I have, Mr. Ford. I don't want to keep you too longer. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yep, thank you.
And do you understand then that if you do choose to testify, you'll essentially make a statement on your own behalf, and then that the people under oath, and that the people will then have the right to cross-examine you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are the people aware of any possible convictions related to Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are there felony convictions?
Yes, Your Honor.
May I ask just briefly what those are?
There is an attempted assault 2 causing serious bodily injury. There is a attempt to riot in a detention facility, an F6. And there is a violation of bail bond conditions.
Have you made a decision whether or not to testify?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is your decision?
I will testify.
Mr. McLean, have you raised your right hand as well, sir? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Please have a seat. It's a little strange because there's no person to ask you questions. It's just you.
Yes.
And so I'm going to ask you to just give your testimony at this time.
And I seen that he's pouring Gatorade out, then he goes park the truck. So I walked over and like, bro, what are you doing? He hops out the truck. Fast out, he hops out. He just hops out the truck, opens up his knife and said, I'm with all the smoke. And I've been stabbed twice. So he's arm's distance from me. And when he got to me, he had this like extra large jacket on. It's probably like a 3X. He's probably wears a medium. I grabbed the jacket and I tried to grab his arm where he had the knife at. And then he kind of twisted inside the jacket and I just pushed him. He caught himself, he slipped and turned around. We was still in the same little area. He turned around and punched me in my face. And then that's when I grabbed him. I grabbed him. I'm not sure if I hit him against the door of the truck. That's how he got the bruise on his head, on the side of his face. And I did not have any gloves on. That's how he had scratches on his face because I was trying to put him to the ground. I'm like, tell him to let go of the knife. I had him on the ground. I slipped on top of him. Then I'm like, bro, you need to calm down. You're bleeding. He was like, I don't care. Just going crazy. So I was just holding him down. Couldn't see his other arm where the knife was at. So, but now he's bleeding on me.
Which hand was that in?
I believe it was the right hand or this hand. So
His right hand.
Yep.
And so when he was coming towards you, was he saying anything?
He's like, I'm with all the smoke.
He wants all the smokes. What does that mean to you?
He's ready to get active. If I could have, I would have walked away. I wish things would have happened differently, but it didn't. And lastly, I asked for a non-guilty verdict because I'm not guilty.
Here we have had 2 officers come in and testify regarding the injuries, and based off their experience, they are very in line with typical assaults of this nature. Moreover, we had the victim come in, and as I stated in argument for motion for judgment of acquittal, he told a very streamlined story without fault or without lapses in the timeline and without incongruity. I believe his testimony was extremely credible. Moreover, on direct, the victim specifically stated they don't have knives as a part of their job. As I noted, the victim came across as very credible. I would take that at face value. There's no testimony regarding a knife, no testimony regarding him aggressively approaching Mr. McLean. As such, I do believe we have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. McLean assaulted Mr. Yvonne Code on that day in February. And I believe the testimony we have, as well as the injuries, all aid in making that beyond a reasonable doubt determination.
Thank you very much. Back on the record in Mr. McLean's case, this is 25M4496. All parties are present. Mr. McLean is present. Thank you all. I'm a little bit later than I meant to be, with my apologies. I wanted to just make an additional record. The court has reviewed all the evidence, and the court is, in this instance, the fact finder and also the one who makes credibility determinations of witnesses. Both parties did an excellent job. representing their respective sides. At the end of the day, what this case comes down to is the credibility of Mr. Code. Since even outside of Mr. McLean's testimony and his claim of self-defense, the court must, as a preliminary matter, first find that each element is met by the people beyond a reasonable doubt. When the court is a fact finder, the court must also consider then the credibility of the witnesses. The court finds both officers credible to the extent that they were involved, understanding the small discrepancy where Detective Beebe didn't think that it was August that this issued, and it was in fact August. So the court's concern comes down to Mr. Code, who described a series of events. Again, the court would note that he at first said that he was punched a couple of punches came through, that he was blocking for his life when he was on the ground, and that a couple of punches came through, and that's what had him bleeding, and that's what had the scratch on his nose. So he went to the hospital, and he said he went to the hospital to make sure it was all documented for, I think he said something like you guys or for the prosecution. And so he went to the hospital to make sure it was documented for a prosecution case. That this case was then filed months later. The court's also considering his demeanor on the stand. The court would note that of any parties who came even close to losing their cool today in the courtroom, it was not either party to this case. It was Mr. Code, who seemed to be talking over the people at one point. The people were trying to dissuade him from going into his history with Mr. McLean, where he referenced something that the court noted specifically was that first he used the phrase when he testified, "I'm here for all the smoke," which happened to be then the same phrase that Mr. McLean used when he described how Mr. Code had come out of the truck and approached it. But then also there's obviously some issue here where Mr. Code's brother was involved with Mr. McLean, according to Mr. Code, and that Mr. Code's brother is now doing 400 years for whatever it was related to Mr. McLean. So the court does have to consider the motivation of the parties. Obviously, Mr. McLean's motivation is to avoid a conviction and the possible consequences that come from that. But there also seems to be a motivation for Mr. Code here. And so the court does have to take that into its credibility assessment. Mr. Code then did say he was punched 12 to 13 times in the face. The court has the pictures of the injuries. The scrape to his knee is consistent with a fall of some kind. A fall from a truck onto the ground, it's unsure. A fall on the ground during a scrap of some kind, perhaps. The facial injuries are one scrape to the nose. That's in People's 2 and People's 7. Is that consistent with, and then People's 5 has some other redness. Is that consistent with what he described as 12 to 13 punches to the face? And again, these are Mr. Code's words. Where he had him on the ground like UFC and he was blocking for his life. And so are those injuries consistent with those kinds of punches according to Mr. Code's own description on the stand? And the kind of final piece the court's taking into consideration as part of this assessment is People's 9 through 12. The court thought the same thing before Mr. McLean even asked it, which is in these pictures, he's smiling. Prior to when the forensic evaluators are taking photos of him, he's not. He looks almost bored to be there. And not saying that anyone has to be emotional. People react to assaults and traumas in different ways, but he's smiling when the police get there. And so the court has concerns with Mr. Code's credibility, with his motive for making these allegations, for being here and testifying. I want to be clear, the people tried to stop him. The people repeatedly tried to jump in and kind of interrupt him and tell him to stop, and he just kept talking over them until the court stopped him. And even then, he had to get in the last jab. He had to get in and say that they're making accusations against him, trying to justify something. So even when the court was speaking to him, it was clear that he had to say something about Mr. McLean. And so with all of that, as to the sole charge of assault in the 3rd degree, the court is going to find Mr. McLean not guilty of that. Sorry, ma'am, I couldn't need you. Based on the court's credibility concerns about Mr. Code, about the way he testified, and about his motivations in doing so, the court just has trouble believing his version of events, which is primarily what the people's case is based on, understandably. I do want to be abundantly clear that the people did their best with Mr. Code, and Mr. Code just seemed to be intent on telling his version. And so the court just has concerns about convicting someone beyond a reasonable doubt, where the court has those credibility concerns and had them throughout his testimony. So the court did take that recess just to think about it, and will find Mr. McLean not guilty as to this based on the court's record. So the mandatory protection will be vacated. The bond will be released. I believe that was just the $5,000 personal recognizance bond anyway.